Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sir, I had a question from the previous class. Can I ask now?
We'll just chant the invocation to this,
Okay.
then we can take up.
Okay.
Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshu Namu Ikshaya Atma Bodho Vidhiyate. Yeah, you can ask her.
This was from the previous class. I was reading the explanation also by Swami Tejomayananda. I think you briefly mentioned the subtle body. This is about subtle body. Subtle body enlivens gross body. That's the statement. Now, gross body performs actions directed by subtle body. That's the other way to look at it. Then how is subtle body born of actions? Is it not the opposite, wherein actions are born of subtle body?
No, just 1 minute. Go ahead again. I'll repeat. You are saying subtle body is the cause for the gross
Subtle
body.
body enlivens gross body.
Okay.
Right?
No. Subtle body enlivens gross body means Atma expressing through the subtle body.
Yes.
The subtle body itself is inert. Subtle body is insentient.
Yes.
When Atma consciousness expresses through the subtle body becomes Jagrat. That subtle body from which the gross body comes. So now what's the question?
Right. Now, it says subtle body is born of actions. That's
karma.
one statement.
Born of action means our karma, previous karma.
Previous karma. So
That's
which
what
are...
Satkarma Janma, Satkarma Janyam. Satkarma Janyam means it is born of good actions.
So like gross body, subtle body is also born of previous actions.
No. Subtle body is the what do you call? Cause of good actions. From subtle body, which is cause of good. Subtle body which is caused by the good actions. From that, gross body comes. So you cannot have subtle body which is born of good actions and gross body will be something else. No, because it is the subtle body that evolves into gross body. When the subtle impressions in the mind, everything changes, gross body changes.
Yeah.
So basically all he wants to say is the subtle body and the gross body are effect of good karma. And here we explained, if it's lots and lots of good karma, then the body will be of devas. If it's lots and lots of negative karmas, it will be of rakshasas, asuras. If it is balanced and quite a good amount of good actions, then you will have human body. So all he wants to say is getting this human body is through your past karma.
Yeah, I think the doubt came in because when he talked about gross body, he said gross body is born as a result of actions, right? He said that earlier. Then when he's talking about subtle body, he's again saying the same thing, born of result of actions.
Correct, because when you do an action to the body, mind and intellect complex in the waking state, depending upon whether it is propelled by good desires or by the selfish desires, which we call as negative, bad, you will have impressions. Supposing if your actions are uh, expressed through knowledge, right? Where
Yeah.
you clearly have the knowledge and understanding and identification with the Atma, which is Akarta. Therefore, you don't create any karma. Then it doesn't gather any more impressions, right? But
Yeah.
if your actions are propelled by good desires, you will have impressions formed as good karma, you know. And then if it is selfish, then the impressions will be there accordingly. Then you will have negative karma. So the impressions, vasanas, are formed through what? Through our actions in the waking state.
Yeah.
From that impressions, vasanas, the causal body, the subtle
Mm.
body comes.
Mm.
From the subtle body, further it evolves into gross body. So impressions come from our action. From the impression, subtle body comes.
Yeah. From the impressions, you have causal body, subtle body, and gross body. All three are
Impressions are
coming.
into the causal body.
Causal body, and then from
From the
there, subtle.
impressions,
Yeah.
your subtle body comes.
Yeah.
The subtle body, gross body evolves.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
So our karma is formed by our actions. And when in this context, later on he's going to discuss about karma and all that in detail. But in our classes, we have always discussed when we say karma, it need not necessarily be just the physical action.
Yeah.
You
That
have
would
a
be.
deep intent.
Yeah.
In the world, supposing you and me, both of us are planning to murder somebody. Okay. And finally, I end up murdering. You were not there in the scene, right? In
Mm.
the court of law in the world, I will be uh, put in jail. You may escape unless it's proven that you were also with me while planning. To that extent, you will also get something. But actually, I'm the one who murdered. I'll go to jail. But as per law of karma, the fact that you had intention and in intention you went to that extent, then you will also have some impressions accordingly. And all the impressions that we collect in the waking state, which goes into our karma bank, from that only subtle body comes. From that, the gross body evolves.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
That's why he says it is also because of karma. So, in our classes so far, we have studied up to this portion where he talks about subtle body. Now, how did we come to this? Initially, he said this, he prayed to the Almighty and the Guru Parampara, saying that I am venturing on this text called Tattva Bodha, which is meant for mumukshus who are absolutely qualified. And to the extent we are qualified, to that extent, knowledge happens instantaneously. So we said that this is sadhya jnanam, not sadhana jnanam. Sadhana jnana means you learn, you put into practice, and then get the benefit. Sadhya jnana means as you are gaining the knowledge, you get the benefit. And that is only possible if you are qualified. So he first mentions about the fourfold qualifications: Viveka, Vairagya. Then the third qualification is sixfold wealth, isn't it? Shamadhi Shatka Sampati. He talked about Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. And then the fourth qualification called Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam means ardent desire to liberate. And you must have that desire to liberate. Only then would you put in effort. Why would you put in effort? In gaining the knowledge, in doing the sadhana to purify yourself before gaining the knowledge, all that. So then once you are ready, once you are qualified, then you can get into the Atma Vichara, which is inquiry into truth. Now, when we say Atma Vichara, it is nothing but self Vichara, asking questions about myself, understanding about myself in depth. I have to, now, this is the irony. When should I start understanding about myself? When I'm young, then live my life. But in the world, what happens is usually we start doing this much later. While we say better late than never, ideally you should start when you're young, this Atma Vichara. And the more you begin to understand yourself, the more you can understand others and the world and relate better. Okay. And not get caught. This is the thing, na? Through our own stupidity, we get caught. Every day they get, call us, send messages, click this. If you click this, you'll get some $100,000, something like that. We'll keep getting messages. And our hand is so fidgety, we'll click it. And then that's it. You won't get $100,000. You are lucky if you have done some good karma, you won't keep some money in the bank. If you have money in the bank and you pressed it, means you have done some bad karma. All gone. We'll remove it. Recently, somebody whom I know very closely, he in fact is very sharp, very careful. He himself was duped. And they are from a very middle class family. They are not extremely rich and all. And they have lost about 2.4 or 3 crores. 3 lakhs. Not crores, 3 lakhs gone in one day. And it happened on his birthday. So what I'm saying is, some phone call comes, some message comes, we get caught. We are the ones who go and get bound. Same thing is happening in the world. And we are already caught. And the biggest problem is, we are not even aware. I'm very comfortable. What is this fellow's problem? Going on saying, I'm in trouble, I'm in trouble. Well, I'm not in trouble. Why these fellows are saying I'm in trouble? How to explain? So you should know that you are in trouble. Then you want to extricate. Then you must understand, I have got into trouble. I can only extricate myself out of this trouble. Everything is my problem. I didn't question. I continued in a way, passively. I'm trapped, I'm caught. So you question, why is it? Why must I answer every call? If something is very important, they will message me, isn't it? As if my phone doesn't accept messages or WhatsApp. Let them message. After seeing the message, I'll decide whether I should speak or not. You have the notifications on. Like now the class is going on. If your notifications are on, ting, one sound will come. So then you're curious, who sent the message? You go there and you get trapped. Exactly like that, through the senses. In fact, in Tamil, word for senses is puri. Puri vechi pudikirthu, they say in Tamil. Means, like a rat trap. You keep a nice dal vada or something. The rat cannot resist that smell. It gets in, the whole thing closes and the rat is trapped. Exactly like that we are trapped. All of us will fall for something or other. Majority of us will fall for flattery. All the time if somebody praises, we are finished. And that's what happened to King Lear. King Lear, he had this weakness for flattery. He went by his likes and dislikes. The first 2 daughters who praised him to skies, they were vicious. They had no intention of taking care of the father. But they spoke like that. They are not straightforward. He fell for the flattery and was roaming around in his own kingdom as a mad fellow. And the third daughter who spoke straight, you didn't understand? He banished her. So, exactly, all of us have something or the other. Whether it's, enjoyment or money or this, that, we get trapped. You are invited for this award. From your money, they give you award. Everything is, they are having all these other award functions also. If you see, they have an intention of promoting also. Why are you given YouTube free? Are they doing charity? As we keep watching YouTube, we are paying in time. We are trapped. We are paying in time. If not by money, we are paying by time, which is more expensive. You can't get it back. Money, you can somehow get it back. In fact, like I told you, this gentleman whom I know lost about 2.4 lakhs or 3 lakhs. They have complained. So the payment is on hold. In the sense, he doesn't have to pay that 3 lakhs now. It was taken from his credit card. Luckily, he didn't give debit card details. So it is on hold. They said they'll do the scrutiny for 2-3 months. Then when it is proven that he was cheated, probably he doesn't have to pay it. At least some system is there. So this is the thing. The senses are the trap. Mind is a trap. So when the inputs come, we get trapped. Like that, we've created so many traps, finding ourselves very difficult to get out. This has to be felt by us. Then only we'll say, how can I extricate myself? So Vedanta says, who's asking this question? Anybody goes to Swami Ramana Maharishi, they go with a problem, they come back with a bigger problem. They go to him saying, Swamiji, I have this problem. Acha, you are saying you have a problem. First, you should introduce yourself to me. Who are you? And you say, I am this, meaning you give the name. You say, that is your name, that's not you. Then you will say, I am this man or woman. That is the sex, that's not you. He goes on. Finally, you'll say, you introduce me properly. Who you are. So you come back with a bigger problem. Who am I? So once you know who am I, all problems dissolve. That's the beauty. That's why I said it's sadhya jnana. The more you understand who you are, the more you come out of problems. Instantly it's gone. When you're stuck in a room which is dark, the moment you switch on the light, you escape the darkness. It's exactly like that. The only thing that can help us is the knowledge. That's what Adi Shankaracharya says in the Tattva Bodha also. Tapo bhikshina papanam shantanam vitaraginam mumukshunam. He goes on and then he says the direct cause for liberation is Atma Jnana, nothing else. Pakasya vanni vajnanam vina moksho na siddhyate. Just like how fire is a direct means for cooking the food, vegetables, knowledge is the direct means for liberation. And when we say knowledge, it's the knowledge of the self. So inquiry into the truth. Who am I? Then only you can get in to all the qualifications. So Atma, what is Atma? Who am I? There he said that alone is real. Everything else is unreal. That is Atma, he says. And then he uses this method of negation and assertion. Whenever you have to talk about the self, which is the subtlest of all, you have to use this method of negation and assertion. So he negates what is not Atma. Then what remains is Atma. That's how it is. So he first, what is the known things to us? All the known things, what all we are thinking ourselves to be now, that all he negates. He negates means what? After understanding, when he negates, we should reflect on it. After understanding, we should negate it. We should come out of that false identification. We continue, we don't do any reflection, we continue with the same identification. then expect us to come out of it. How is that possible? That's not possible. So, he says, negate. What is negating? First, he says, Stula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha. Means it is beyond the gross, subtle, and causal bodies. It is beyond the gross, subtle, and causal bodies. Then Panchakosha Atita San. It is beyond the 5 koshas. What are the 5 koshas? Annamaya kosha, food sheath, pranamaya kosha, right layer sheath, manomaya kosha, mental sheath, vijnanamaya kosha, intellectual sheath, and anandamaya kosha, bliss sheath. He said it is beyond all these 5 sheaths. Then he said, avastatraya sakshihi. It is the witness to the 3 states of consciousness, namely waking, dream, deep sleep. To these 3 states of consciousness, Atma is a witness. Atma is a witness means I am a witness. So now what is happening? How do I introduce myself? I am this person. Oh, you've grown tall. Oh, you've grown short. I'm not, you can't grow short. You've put on weight. You've lost weight. Your hair has turned gray. So I'm identifying with the body. I'm saying I'm this body. Then I'm disturbed here. I'm not calm. I'm disturbed. That you're identifying with the mind. Oh, he's very intelligent. He's very witty. You're identifying with the intellect. This is how I'm introducing myself. Because I'm thinking myself to be this. Very beautifully in the poem Pineapple and the Bee, the poet William Cowper, he says, folly the spring of thy pursuit, disappointment thy fruit. If the very spring of your pursuit is folly, the fruit will be disappointment. The fruit will be disappointment. This is the problem. Then he said, life is full of misery, disappointments. No, you are not married. That's why you are laughing. You get married, then you see. And then after marrying, you say, you were married, but you haven't got children yet. Let me see after that. Oh, you got children, but your children have not still gotten to school. They haven't started school. You see, getting school admission, then you will know. Like that, you will go on saying, as if disappointment is compulsory, a must. The problem is, he says, folly, the spring of thy pursuit, disappointment, thy fruit. Disappointment is an effect of what? Wrong start. In Tamil they say, Mudal konam mutrum kon. Meaning all gone. Beginning only is wrong. Everything is wrong then. So that's why Vedanta says, start from you. This is what you are saying. I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intellect, I am this panchakosha, I am this waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. All this you are not, Baba. He says. Then what are you? Who am I? He says, Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. My nature, Shastra explains to me, describes about me, and says, I am Sat, existence principle, that which always exists. I am the one who is always there, not the one who comes and goes, comes and goes. This one who comes and goes is the teacher. That is the role I play. Saturday morning. Now, from 9:30, I am a student. When I go to this lecture now, which I told you that I am going to attend. At 9:30, I am a student. I play another role. Whether student, teacher, father, son, all that is what? The roles. Beyond all this, I am. That's my real nature. It is Sakshi to all this. This is me. See, my understanding about myself becomes broader and deeper. Mm. And when my understanding about myself becomes broader and deeper, the vision I will have about the world also broadens and deepens. All these petty thoughts, all that drops. When our thoughts become broad, life also becomes beautiful. Inside has to open up. Inside is all kachara. No. Then we say, ye ठीक नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है. Then you go to these astrologers and they will say, oh, this is ye karo, wo karo. And they're going on doing all this. So, this inquiry, when you do Sat always existing, then Chit, you are of what nature? Consciousness nature. You are aware. And then you are blissful. That's your original nature. He's going to talk about Satchidananda in detail, so I'm not going to talk about it in detail now. This is what he said. So then the analysis starts. Now he said, Stula, Sukshma, Karana Sharirat, Yatirikta, 3. Then Panchakosha, 5 plus 3, 8. Then he said, Avastatraya Sakshi, 3. So 8 plus 3, 11. All these 11 you are not. Then he said, these 3, Sat, Chit, Ananda, you are. So the discussion then starts about all these 11, then the other 3, 14. That's how he goes. While he continues, in that whatever comes, that also he discusses. That's how beautifully Tattva Bodha is brought about by Adi Shankaracharya. So he said, what is gross body? What is subtle body? What is causal body? We have seen up to gross body, subtle body. We have to now see causal body. So gross body, what did he say? Now I'm not going to say this. Somebody tell this. One of you who've been attending the classes, please explain what did he say as gross body. Book is there with you, I guess. You can see it and tell. What does he say as gross body?
Swami, namaskar.
Namaskar.
The gross body happens through the panchikarna, all the 5 elements which come, and then they get transformed into what we see as the physical body, or the gross body, which is we can see and we can feel, which is visible to us, which we identify like our human body as such.
See the book and say, no problem.
No, I don't have a book actually.
Oh, okay. What is Stula Shariram? What does he say? Stula Shariram Kim.
Yeah, I think the key here is it is counter of experience. I think that's the key word he's using.
Gross body is that, first of all, made up of 5 elements. Okay. Now, what kind of 5 elements? The 5 elements that has gone through the process of Panchikarana. I told you, English translation is a little more complicated for this. First time when I read it in the ashram, even now my English is not good, but that time it was worse. It was bad. I didn't understand anything. He says, what is Panchikarana? These 5 elements which has gone through the process of grassification, pentamerous, self-division and mutual combination. Means the 5 elements are what you are seeing now in the external world. Everything is made up of 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, earth. Now, these are all not in its purest form. If you take a particular element, other four elements are to some extent present in them. That's why it's called gross elements. So, these gross elements must have existed before in its subtle form. Everything, first, even the things that you see externally, the laptop, the iPad, or whatever through which you are doing this class, that is now in the gross form. That was first conceived in the subtle form. Then from the subtle, which is in your mind, you conceived it. Then it was brought out in the gross form. The same way, these elements were initially existing in subtle form. They went through this process of mixture, combining, and they have come in gross form. The combination of these gross elements has brought about the gross body, he says. This is number 1 point. So he says that which is made up of the 5 great elements that have undergone the process of panchikarana. Mixture. Oh yeah. Understand? Then it is got out of good karma, sat karma janyam. This we discussed in the beginning when Arunji asked the question. Sat karma janyam. The sat karma janyam is telling because you are born in the human being form. The discussion is between human beings. I'm very clear about that. I hope you are also clear. So he wants to say, Arey Baba, you've got this body after you earned it basically through good karma. Don't throw it away. To tell that, he's saying sat karma janyam. Don't throw it away. Have fun, but don't throw it away. Don't have fun at the cost of knowing yourself. You understand? Don't get lost, indulged in the world. Don't get completely indulging in the world. So that's why he says, born as a result of good karma, sat karma janyam. Then he says, it is the bhoga ayatanam, which is what Arunji said. It is the counter, not the instrument. It is the bhoga ayatanam. Then he says it goes through 6 modifications. You understand? You forgot that. Existing in the mother's womb, and then taking birth, then growing, then maturing, then slowly going through the decay, and then finally dying. This gross body is subject to all these modifications. The very fact that we study this gross body like this, our attachment to gross body slowly reduces. We become ready for death. Doesn't mean that tomorrow or after this class or during the class I'll commit suicide. I'm not giving ideas. But we think what? Bharatiya, Mahakavi Bharati, he says, Kala, he's telling Lord Yama, Kala en munne vada. He's saying, you come in front of me, man. Kala en munne vada. Unne Kala uday pe. It's not that he is being disrespectful. He is saying he is gone beyond death, risen above the body. So when you rise above the body, they're fine, deal with it. But then your energy, your contributions, nothing stops. They continue. So this is what it is. It goes through these modifications. This is gross body we studied. Then we came to subtle body. What is subtle body? if the gross body is made up of the 5 elements after the process of grossification, subtle body is that which is made up of before the grossification. Again, it is also made up of the same 5 elements, but before the grossification process, before panchikarana. That is the subtle body made up of. It is also made up of 5 elements. This is also made up of 5 elements. And none of the 5 elements are sentient by itself. Therefore, if they are not sentient, the product made by that, how can it be sentient? This is a very important point. Because, many of us know, even though we may say I am this body and all that, many of us deeply know that I am not this body. But when it comes to mind, that is where the problem is. Many of us think I am that mind. Isn't it? I'm this, which is conscious, and I'm attributing it to the mind. But mind also, Shastra has explained, by itself it is insentient. Because it is also made up of the same 5 elements. What is the mirror made up of? The glass. You have this glass here. What is this made up of? Anybody? Yeah. Silica. Go on grinding the grass. What is opaque becomes the opposite. You can start seeing through it. So the subtle body is made up of the 5 subtle elements before the panchikarana. But since they are also elements, they are also not sentient. This inquiry comes in Kena Upanishad. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha kena prana pratama praiti yuktaha keneshitam vachamimam vadanti chakshushrotram kavudevo yunakti. He is asking. The moment the Shishya is asking the question itself, the Shishya is just last, level he is in. A little touch is enough. When you play carom board or snooker or pool table, the ball sometimes goes and it doesn't get pocketed. Almost half of it is gone. It doesn't fall. A little touch is enough. That level the student is. And he's asking questions. So from the question, he is there. So Guru doesn't want to waste his time. So immediately says, Shrotrasya Shrotram. Ho gaya. When he said Shrotrasya Shrotram, he left. Means he is realized. Sadhya Jnanam. Others have not done that good tapas, that much sadhana. So they are continuing. So Guru continues. Not because the student is subtle and he is realized and the Guru is still going on talking because he has desire to talk. Other fellows are there, no? All the other fellows, they have not done enough sadhana. They need little more explanation. Then finally he gives the same thing in a story format in Kena Upanishad. So he says mind is also insentient. Anaso mano yad vachoha vachahum savu pranasya prana chakshushas chakshu, he says in the Kena Upanishad. It is the mind of the mind. So the mind we are studying here, subtle body. And subtle body, when he says, it is before panchikarana, the combination of subtle elements is the mind. And then he says, it is also got out of punya karma, sat karma janyam. Then it is bhoga sadhanam, not ayatanam. When he talked about gross body, he said bhoga ayatanam. Here he says it is bhoga sadhanam, which is the instrument through which you experience. Experience means both joy and sorrow. It is through which you go through sukha and dukkha and everything. And then it says it is constituted of 17 items. What are the 17? Anybody? This you should know. I said this 17 sometimes talked about as 19 also. So what is this? Please tell. What are the 17?
Other two are ego and memory, that I remember. The last two that you added. And then you got the
I
organs.
forgot the milk decoction. And you only remember the sugar, which I added.
No, I'm just starting from the end. And 5 organs of action, 5 pranas, 5 sense organs, 5, mind and intellect.
Correct. So now the question is, so basically 5 organs of perception called jnana indriyas and 5 organs of action called karma indriyas. Then pancha prana. All this put together 5, 15. Then manas, buddhi, 17 ho gaya. 19, when we say the same mind and intellect is split further. Chitta, ahankara. Chitta means memory. All your impressions get stored there. And when he said mind here, he included chitta in that. Then, what's the other one? Ahankara. Ahankara generally is a, very proud fellow and all that. But that is correct. Ahankara means here the arrogating thoughts. Who is claiming this body to be mine? My body, my mind, my intellect. Understand? My computer, my book, my guru, my this thing, my. Who is arrogating everything? That thoughts which are arrogating in nature, that is classified as what? Ego. That's why I said, somebody very beautifully put ego, he expanded it, edging God out. Separating myself as if I'm separate from the total. When I separate myself from the total, that's called ego. My body. This is my body, this is yours. You understand? So, what is mind? Mind is indecisive thoughts, doubting thoughts. Asamshaya atma. That is mind. And buddhi, decisive thought. No. Sorry, samshaya atma is mind. Asamshaya atma is buddhi. Decisive. Doubting is mind. Decisive is intellect. Discriminating thought flow is intellect. Indiscriminate thought flow is mind. Then the impressions collected, the storehouse is memory, chitta. And ego is arrogating thoughts. All are thoughts. So when you put it like that, then it becomes 19. Okay. Now the question is, Are Baba, he is saying 5 organs of action and 5 organs of perception are part of subtle body. But in my observation, I have these 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of actions in my body. That is where I said, these are gwalayas. These are not really the sense organs of perception or sense organs of action. They are the counter through which the 5 organs of perception and 5 organs of action functions. You understand? So, Then he gets on to the discussion about these five organs of perception and action, where he explains all these five organs of perception. We know all that, right? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. What are their respective field? That Shakti. That Shakti is in the subtle body. Only you can't see a person's ear and think, assume how much he can hear. Person has ears and he nicely maintains it also. Maybe 3-4 earrings and all that. Doesn't mean that he can hear. So that Shakti, hearing capacity, is in the subtle body. You understand? Now, similarly for the organs of action. And he talks about devatas. Now, all this what we are studying, in a way, beautifully, Swamiji has done it, put it up in the book Vedanta Treatise in part B, in the first few chapters. But he doesn't talk about these devatas. That is where I said the devotion comes. See, we must understand that behind everything there is this divinity. Shakespeare beautifully says there is a divinity that shapes our end. That divinity is there behind everything and it manifests as that Shakti. So that Shakti actually belongs to that divinity, not mine. It's a very important thing in life, this attitude. This is actually called bhakti. This is called bhakti. Bhakti in today's context, all kinds of nonsense going on in bhakti. You know, in my house, if I'm having bhakti and my family members have bhakti, in my society, people have bhakti, they switch on the tape recorder and connect it through the amplifier and the whole world has to listen to that. And sometimes, at least if you play tape recorder, somebody is singing nicely there. These fellows sing, my God, and they have competition amongst themselves. You know, who's singing better, who's singing loudly. And all this nonsense we have to hear in the name of bhakti. That is not bhakti. A bhakti doesn't mean I have to stop everything and then I'm thinking about God. That is bhakti. While you are doing everything, understanding behind all this, that Shakti, that divinity is there. If I am talking today, now you are listening to me, through this talk, who's talking? The entire Guru Parampara is talking. Only whenever I become egoistic, all rubbish comes out of me. All the sense that, if at all I'm speaking in this class, comes from the Guru Parampara. If I have that attitude, if I have that understanding, that is bhakti. That is why he said in the 10th chapter, he named it as what? Vibhuti Yoga in the Bhagavad-gita. You know, under 10th chapter means what? 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad-gita is called as Vibhuti Yoga. It is the glory of the Lord. इसमें कोई मेरा ग्लोरी है क्या? नहीं, सारा भगवान का ही है. And it behind everything, that Shakti is coming through a particular Devata, he says. You don't have to get into how he's saying this Devata, that Devata. Don't have to worry about it. Devata. They explain that Devata concept. I told you Devata means, in English when they write, they put gods. G with small letter and it is given in plural with yes at the end. Gods. And whenever they talk about Brahman, they put it in singular, God, and it starts with capital letter G. So this same Brahman has manifested as so many powers in this universe, and all that we call as various devatas, 33,000 crores devatas. That doesn't mean it's the end. Infinite level. How many ever manifestations you can imagine? All that is devatas are there. That much mind, so much devatas. That many minds, so many devatas. So now, if I want a particular result, I must go to that devata. Now, to explain this, I said Prime Minister is ultimate. Then there are so many ministries, and then there are ministers, state ministers, and all. They have IAS officers, and all that whole system is there. Ultimately, everything comes under Government of India. Head of Government of India is our Prime Minister. Okay. Now, if I want something in agriculture, I have to go to that particular ministry, agriculture ministry. If I want something related to roads, I have to go there. Textile, I have to go to that particular ministry. For everything, if it's about going abroad and some issues you're having, foreign affairs. So everything has a ministry that comes under a particular minister who is under Prime Minister. This is the whole setup. So like that he says, then in this, he said these are the devatas. So when he talked about organs of perception and organs of action, he mentioned all that. Who is devata for whom and all that. This is because then you have to go to that particular devata, do particular ritual, have a particular application form, right? And that particular application form you fill, and then you fulfill the criteria, you submit all the necessary documents, then you will be sanctioned. Same thing happens. You offer to the particular devatas, do yajna to the particular devata in a particular way, you prepare yourself, mind, body, everything you prepare, and then you get the result. Everyone gets the result according to their actions. Incidentally, we are studying same thing in the 4th chapter of the Gita on Sundays. The 11th verse says, people according to their nature, they come, they ask, and they do work and they get the results. I have nothing to do with it, he says. So this much we have seen. Now, the next obvious thing is, what is causal body? Kim. Anirvachya, Anadi, Avidya Rupam, Sharira Dvayasya Karana Matram, Sat Swarupa Ajnanam, Nirvikalpaka Rupam, Yadasti, Tat Karana Shariram. He says, Anirvachya, inexplicable, Anadi, beginningless. Avidya Rupam, it is of the nature of ignorance. It is of the form of ignorance. Sharira Dvayasya Karana Matram. Sharira Dvayam. What is he referring to? The subtle and gross body. Sharira Dvayam, two. What are the two bodies he is referring to? Subtle body and the gross body. It is the Karana, cause of these two bodies. Therefore, it's called Karana Shariram. Sharira Dvayasya, Karana Matram. Then Sat Swarupa Ajnanam. Understand? It is Sat Swarupa Ajnana. It is ignorant about itself. That's what it means. Sat Swarupa Ajnana. Ignorance of one's own true nature. This is and he says, Yadasti Tat Karana Shariram. That is Karana Shariram. And one more thing I forgot. Nirvi Kalpaka Rupam. Vikalpa means divisions. Divisions, different differentiations. It is without any differentiation, without any divisions. Nirvi Kalpaka Rupam. This is what he said. So now let's get into seeing one by one. First, Sharira Dvayasya Karana Matram. Sharira dvayasya karana matra. Means what? It is that which causes the subtle body and the gross body. Now, when he first said gross body, okay, what is the gross body made up of? The 5 elements. What kind of 5 elements? Grossified 5 elements. That means before that there must have been pure elements. So pure elements is the cause, then gross elements come from that. The combination of gross elements comes the gross body. Okay. Then pure elements. Oh, the pure elements causes the combines and then causes the subtle body. Okay. Then from where the pure elements came? When you ask that question, he says that is coming from this, what is called as Karana Shariram. It is the cause of this. And if you want to know more about it in detail, you say, Arey yaar, not enough. Aur bolo. Aur bolo. He says, Anirvachya. It is inexplicable. Why? That means this teacher has not studied properly. He doesn't know. Therefore, he nicely says he cannot say it. It is not like that. He cannot say doesn't mean he doesn't know. You don't have instrument to know it. See, we just said the causal body is the cause, subtle body and gross body comes from that. What is the subtle body made up of? Mind, intellect. We forget about the Jnanendriya, Karmendriya and all that now. Just take the mind, intellect. Now, this mind and intellect, when he says, with what do you explain anything? What is the instrument, equipment you're using to explain anything?
Intellect.
Intellect. And the intellect itself is caused by this causal body. So it is subtler than the intellect. How can the intellect, which is gross, explain something that is subtler than that? Not possible. It is inexplicable by the intellect. It is subtle. Anirvachya. They don't get into trying to discuss maximum. You see in the Vedanta treatise book, he nicely puts it. He says, this, see, one more thing I'll tell you. Causal body, non-apprehension, vasanas, deep sleep, seed, ignorance, all are synonyms. In class, sometimes, in this class or any other class, supposing you're attending, I say causal body, I say non-apprehension, I say ignorance, deep sleep, all this only. Right? So, this is the cause. That's the effect. Intellect is grosser than the vasanas. So, in Vedanta, this book, he says, maximum you can say innate tendencies. Innate tendencies. That also is not a definition. You can't define. You can't explain what is causal body. It is inexplicable. And anadi. Anadi means beginningless, beyond time. The beauty is Brahman also is anadi. Brahman is anadi. Atma is anadi. This causal body is also anadi, beginningless, beyond time. See, when we say time, it is measured as the interval between two experiences. The experiences can happen where? Just now we studied. Where does the experience happen?
Body, cross body, organs of
Mind. In the mind, it gets registered. Then only it is experienced.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So, experience comes only in the mind. The concept of time comes only when the mind is there. That's why in deep sleep, there is no concept of time. When you wake up, you say, oh, this much time I slept. So, we started Some of you may be wondering, 8 to 9 is the class. It's already 9 1. This fellow is not ending. So what are you doing? Starting time, ending time, you are measuring when you say this much time. So this whole thing experiences, everything comes in the subtle body, but we are talking about causal body. Before the subtle body, the causal body is where there is no concept of time. It is anadi, beginningless. And avidya rupam is the form of ignorance, isn't it? You cannot say this is, it is ignorance. I don't know. And then he says, Sat Swarupa Ajnana. I don't know why. Nobody knows. It is that ignorance that is the cause. I'll explain these things in detail in the next class, but I'm just saying. Then Nirvikalpaka Rupam. Nirvikalpa, no divisions. See, when you see a seed, there are no divisions there. From the seed, the tree comes. In the tree, you see all the different various manifestations, isn't it? The trunk, the branches, the leaves, the flowers, etc., etc. But in it, it's like some class members. They're sitting, looking at the teacher. No smile, nothing. You crack a joke, no laughter. You give a beautiful quotation, no big thing. They're sitting like a rock of Gibraltar. Now, you don't know whether that fellow is listening or he's somewhere else, or maybe he doesn't know English. I don't know. You don't know what to make out of it. So, nirvikalpaka rupam yadasti, that is tat karana shariram. That is the karana shariram. We'll talk about it in detail next class. Let's conclude now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.